Okay, what's going on? Oh my god. Okay, wait. Calm down. Remember your training. Breathe in, breathe out. Alright, evaluate surroundings. It's all black. Wait. This is a simulation. Whoa. Oh my god.
That's alright.
How long was I in there? It felt like forever.
Not the top score.
That's right, guys. We're going to be doing a book review of Insurgent, the second book in the Divergent trilogy. But before we get into it, Pat, why don't you tell us recap some of the pros and cons of the first book?
Okay. Well, I liked the first book. Some parts that I liked were the characters. The characters were pretty cool. There was some nice character development. The pace throughout most of the book was pretty good, except at the end, which is one of my major cons. The end of the book came pretty quickly. That's pretty much all I have to say. What about you?
Yeah, and also, I just found it really interesting. You're just discovering this whole new world, and there's just so much to soak up. And yeah, same thing with Pat. The pace at the end was a little bit off. And the general content's a bit tough to swallow, but if you can kind of wrap your mind around it, it turned out to be pretty good. So let's see how Insurgent stacks up to the first book.
Let's go. Alright, we're back. Justin, tell me what you think about the character development in this novel.
Well, I'd have to say that this book definitely did have its fair share of character development. Maybe not as much as the first, but the character development that did happen was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Like, obviously in the first book, a lot of stuff happens at the end, like really quickly. Triss loses her parents, she shoots Will, and in this book you can really see the repercussions. She really has to deal with that stress, that guilt, that loneliness even. And you can see it in how she tries to cope with all this. And I mean, the key breakthrough at the end, I guess, would be after being really depressed and really not knowing what to do, she finally finds her will to live. And that's really a turning point in the book.
Yeah, definitely. And you can see like the struggles with the other characters, namely Tobias. So Four was really supportive with her, and he wanted to give her chances and everything, but she just wouldn't give. And there was a point where Four was like, okay, promise me you won't do anything stupid, but then she did something stupid. But Four was always there to support her, and one part of the book where there was really some intense like Four action was when he confronted his father, and yeah, he was beat as a child, so he was always sort of afraid of his father. But when he stood up to his father, it really like broke something inside of him and let him free from the chains of his father, and that made him a stronger character. And I feel like it helped him, break out and help Triss and all her problems and other characters.
Yeah, for sure. So let's head on to the next segment. Yeah.
All right, see you there.
So Pat, how'd you find the plot of the story?
Okay, well, here's like one of my, I don't know, what I found a bit iffy about the book. It was sort of all over the place, literally. The characters went around everywhere, from like Dauntless headquarters to Erudite headquarters to Amity headquarters to Candor headquarters to Factionless and to Abnegation headquarters. They were literally everywhere. It was sort of hard to keep up with, and especially like when you transit from the first book, where everything happens mostly inside of the Dauntless compound, then you get to this book where it's everywhere. Another thing is, this book asked a lot of questions, and as a reader, you're always wondering, like, what's this, what's that, and even at the end, you're like, they ask you a big question, and you're just there like, what am I supposed to do with this? And for some readers, it could be like sort of fun because it helps you, go through the books. But for someone who's not really like interested in too heavy reading, it can be sort of annoying because it sort of forces you to go on with the readings.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, the first book in the series Divergent, I just blasted through it, and this one I also blasted through. I read it really fast, but even though I really just, the book gave me the feeling like I need to keep on reading, it wasn't as fun as the first time. Yeah. Like, I just felt compelled to read because I'm just like, what the heck's going on right now? And I just found this book was a lot more plot-oriented. There's not really too much... the first one, well, they talk about discovering a new world. Like, as a reader, the author has to introduce a lot of aspects.
Yeah.
But in this one, it's a lot more story oriented, and I found that kind of like dragged it down.
Yeah, especially in the first book, you follow Triss a lot, well, throughout both books, but in the first one, you're discovering things with Triss, so it's like, it really brings you into the story, and you sort of like relate to the character even if you're not a chick. And the second one, it's more like, you're not discovering the same level of stuff, so it's harder to like put yourself in the story. You're just like sort of riding along. I don't know. It's a different style, I find.
What do you say, we're spectators?
Oh ho ho!
So, Pat, what was your overall impression of the book?
Overall, I think it was a decent book. But personally, if it wasn't in the Divergent series, so if it was just a standalone book, I don't think I would read it like for pleasure, because it's not really the style that would interest me. But given it's in the Divergent series, you know, I want to read it because like it's in the series and I like the first book. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. What about you?
Well, that was actually a really good way to put it. Like, I pretty much agree. I'd give it a 7.5. Like, on the first one, I gave it a 9. Pat gave it an 8.5. Like, I'd read it. Like, right now, I really don't feel like reading it again. But, like, one day I might reread it as a whole series because it's part of the Divergent series.
Yeah.
You have to read them all three together, you know?
Exactly.
But otherwise, it wasn't particularly impressive. It wasn't like garbage. I mean, it was good. Well, obviously, we're fans of the series, so.
Yeah. And that I feel like the series gave it like enough cred for us to read it.
Yeah.
Alright, thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like. If you want to say something about it, please do so in the comment section below. We love reading your comments even though you haven't been commenting. And if you want to see more, you know, subscribe. So from both of us, peace!